This time on Word on the Street, Clue on Stage unfolded at Hampshire.
And a full recap of the 2026 Super Bowl best moments.
So sit back,
relax,
and here's the Word on the Street. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Word on the Street. I'm Grace Lathrop.
And I'm Hannah Fideli, and we've got a full show coming up for you guys, so get ready.
That's right, we've got your full Super Bowl rundown, commercial, halftime show, the whole thing, and even a crossover with DITV Sports to talk about what happened on the field. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Clue, which I saw yesterday over at Hampshire. This was probably one of my favorite shows I've seen there, and I was pretty much laughing the entire time. This show was so fun, and I would really recommend it to anyone. It's suitable for all ages and something that everyone can really enjoy. And I could really tell that the audience loved it. It's not super long, it's only 80 minutes, and there's no intermission, so it just keeps going and going, which I kind of liked. It kind of kept me on like the edge of my seat the whole time. It went really fast. The set was super cool. I feel like sometimes the Hampshire plays are like very hit or miss with the set, but this was really cool.
Yeah, that one needs like an intricate set because of all like the hidden things and like how they interact with it. My high school did Clue, and I've seen it before, and I've obviously watched the movie, I've played the game, so it's such a fun show, and yeah, I'm glad you got to see it. Yeah,
it was really, really fun. The set had all the different rooms, just like on the board game, which was really cool, and it really looked like the game, like which was like even like the details, like the tiling on the floor was like the same.
Wow.
So that was super, super cool, and all of the acting was really, really good.
Was it like a rotating set, like where they had it on like, or did they just kind of bring it on and off?
Kind of. It kind of was almost like little side parts where like the door would open and it would like halfway turn in.
That's cool.
So it wasn't like a full change. They changed it a couple times, but it was really cool. And yeah, each of the characters were very unique and had their own personality, and I felt like I was like picking up the playing card and looking at it. So it was really cool. And then I really liked how they introduced all the props, like the weapons. Each one was given to each character in a box, so you kind of knew when he was handing it out, like it was like wrapped up as a gift, and you kind of knew what it was going to be. And then like the lights were really cool because it would like shine on each of them. They'd be like the wrench, the rope, the whatever.
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool. It was very creative. And the costuming was really well done. I really liked Miss Peacock's costume. You knew when she was out there, like that's who she was supposed to be. And then the ending was really unique too. I feel like I haven't seen the movie in so long, but I do know that this is kind of how the movie ends too, where they give you a bunch of different ways it could end. So, you know, not to spoil anything, but really they give scenarios as to how each one could be the killer.
Don't they give you 3 different endings?
No, this one, well, the one I saw went through each of them.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then you kind of reveal what like actually happened, but it was like a bunch of different scenarios. So that was pretty cool, and there was like a lot of little kids in the audience that really liked it, but then also like adults that can also connect to it too. And I really enjoyed it. I was sitting kind of in the student area, and a bunch of them said that Colonel Mustard, Nate Curlott, who's from Iowa, was like, they had some connection to him. Like he was their old stage manager. They've like been in a show with him. So I overheard a lot of those conversations, which was really cool. And
because you were sitting with all the theater students.
Yes,
so
yes.
A lot of them from like Davenport area, like either had him as a director or like knew him from some sort of theater adjacent activity. Yeah,
so it was kind of cool like to just hear that. And I know that the cast, I also heard through the grapevine, was doing a Q&A after the show. So I unfortunately did not stick around for that, but another cool opportunity just to hear more. And you know, it was awesome. It wasn't a musical, but it still moved really well, and I was entertained, and I would really recommend it to anyone.
I agree. It's such a cute show.
Yeah, Clue's fun.
For all ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, well, before Grace saw Clue on Sunday, I was watching a performance on Saturday night, produced by the Angler Theater and hosted at Wildwood Saloon. The country folk group, the Cactus Blossoms, brought their music to Iowa City. Let's take a look.
Wildwood
Wildwood Saloon welcomed the Cactus Blossoms back to Iowa City, a venue fitting for their style and music. Brother duo Paige Burkham and Jack Torrey have been playing together for more than a decade. Growing up in Minneapolis, Minnesota helps them connect to the people who see their shows in the places they stop at, including Iowa City.
You know, as fellow Midwesterners, I think we just kind of relate to and get the people.
They brought a crowd and had people up and moving from the very first song. They also took time to address the recent killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by ICE agents in their hometown and encouraged their audience to keep fighting for their rights.
Your rights. You can't count on the lawyers anymore, it doesn't seem like.
Paige and Jack have the coveted opportunity some artists can only dream of: touring, performing live, and making a living doing it.
Sharing your thoughts and music with someone is kind of where it's at. And we don't have any other B plan, so.
Kind of as long as people are interested in what we're creating, it's kind of a privilege to share that, so.
It was a really cool environment to be in, and I've been to Wildwood before, but I've never seen a concert there. I've been there for an event where we knew the band that was playing because it was that event. But it was really cool. On the stage and how it's set up is Nashville style kind of, where it's a big square, and then they have the stage with all of the tables and whatnot around it, but then a big open area for dancing. And people were definitely taking advantage of that. They were dancing from the very first song and having a blast. And the artists were really cool to talk to. I was so happy I got to interview them right before their set. And I was like, what do I even ask? I have a million questions, but I didn't want to keep them for super long. So I was just tell me kind of about your relationship. Tell me about how, your creative process. What's your story? How do you describe your music? And I also was asking where'd you get your band name from? They're honestly, it was so long ago, we don't even know. I'm like, you're fine, that's okay.
Fair.
I totally
Fair.
get that. But then after I stopped rolling, since I'm a singer, I asked them some personal questions, how do you avoid vocal fatigue? How do you avoid burning out when you're on tour? Being a touring artist, it takes a lot on the body. So they were honestly, some performances you just can't give your all, and it sucks, but it's having that relationship with the audience to know they can understand where you're coming from, but also they're here to hear the music you created. So they want they have a certain expectation, but honestly just hearing the music live is just cool enough. So
yeah,
it was a really good opportunity. And before the concert, there's pool tables up there, so they were let's play some pool, and I was just that's just so fun to me. And they were just chatting with their opener and just having a fun time just with their other bandmates, and they just seemed like a cool group to be on tour with. They're just very chill, very relaxed, and yeah, just seem to love it.
God, that actually sounds really fun. Now I wish I went just to see it. So
Yes.
that's awesome. I'm a big fan of folky kind of music, so I'm kind of sad I missed out. But it sounds like you had a great time, and I just love when little or artists that are really starting out come to Iowa City. It's such a great place for performances, and I think it's people don't always realize that, but there's such a great art scene. You have a Big Ten school that's really into sports, but we've also got some great arts happening.
And that's what they said when I asked them why come to Iowa City. They're well, we fit the Midwestern vibe, but also we've been here before. They performed here years ago. They've been here 2 other times, but they're it has Eastern Iowa has a very rich culture and arts and entertainment scene that we like to just pop in when we can.
Absolutely. I totally agree with them on that. But on a national level, obviously we had to talk about the Super Bowl because it's what everyone's talking about right now. Before we get to the halftime performance, which is what everyone is talking about, I wanted to talk a little bit about the commercials because I could care absolutely less what's on the field, to be honest. I have no emotional ties to...
Especially because the Bears weren't playing. I was whatever.
No ties to national
Taylor
level
Swift
football.
wasn't there.
Taylor wasn't there. Anyways, so I always look forward to the commercials for this year. And this year I thought, all in all, they were okay. I didn't think anything was super great or out of the ordinary.
It was very underwhelming overall. The whole thing, other than the halftime show.
I agree. The game was a little boring to me. The commercials were okay, but there were a few that stood out. I know you were a big fan of the State Farm one.
I love the State Farm commercial. It was one of the first ones. It had just like a lot of big names in it, and like State Farm really went all out with its production value. They've recently been doing like this campaign of like we're not like other insurances, like with Michael Key, and I forget the other guy's name, where they're like we're the other insurance. So it was them, and then Haley Steinfeld was the one like buying insurance, and then they were singing like a parody of like Living on a Prayer, but it was like not.
Yes.
It was like being not on a prayer, and then like Cat's Eye was like their backup dancers. I'm like, okay, I like Cat's Eye. They're a fun girl group. And then like the actual lead singer who sings Living on a Prayer was like at the end like driving with the car with Jake from State Farm. So it was a pretty it was just a fun commercial, and like they really put a lot into it, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I did too. And I think one of like the big concepts this year was what was real and what was made with AI. And you could kind of tell, unfortunately, we'll get to that, but you know, that's also like a hard line to draw, you know, just from a creative standpoint. But I thought the Guy Fieri one was really creative when he was just a guy in the Guy Fieri. I mean, I appreciate the creativity and the wittiness to that. And then I loved, speak of AI, but I loved the Pepsi one with the polar bears because
like,
they were so cute. Yes. They were adorable. And obviously, like, I don't expect them to get real polar bears, but they were, that one was just a really good, feel-good one. Yeah. And then I feel like we have to mention the Uber Eats one with Matthew McConaughey and Bradley Cooper. That was a great one and very creative, and two of my favorite people in one commercial. So
he doesn't love Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I know. He's the best. So that was a great one. And then Benson Boone flipping.
Of course.
And Ben Stiller falling off of the stage was really creative. I was a little confused as to how it connected to Instacart.
I think it was just more for the celebrities. So many of these commercials are just like to show off these celebrities.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like who can get the biggest star and like then but yeah, and then my favorite one of the night was the Dunkin' one with all the sitcom folks in it. But unfortunately, I have, you know, a little bit of suspicion that was
100%.
a lot of AI usage, but it was really cute, and I appreciate I appreciate the creativity and you know, seeing Joey from Friends.
I just wish they did it and like use the actors as they are now. Like I feel like would have been more nostalgic and honestly better for like our parents and us, like who like that's how we know them now. But like I don't know if they were actually acting in it or if they voiced it or if they, you know, like what they did, but I know their faces were not real. Yeah,
for sure. It was a little freaky seeing how like, they looked young. I was
especially
like,
Matt LeBlanc. He looked the scariest, honestly.
It looked really weird, and I was like, okay, this is obviously AI, but I think the idea of it was really cute, and it's unfortunate that had to be the case. I think if they were at their age that they are now in it, it would have been completely fine. So,
I agree.
You know,
you could have taken a different direction of like an older angle. I don't know. I just think they could have been done in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, when I was watching, I was like, why does he look? I was like, oh my God, wait, when did they make this? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a little weird. Jennifer Aniston was really freaky. She was like overly like plasticky, and it just looked a little fake.
And she looked so great in real life. It's like, why would you do that?
I know, but I loved the idea of it. I thought it was really cute. But yeah, some just felt really flat and just a little overdone. But then we still have the classics like the Clydesdales from Budweiser every year. I look forward to seeing that.
I've heard lots of buzz about that one.
So cute. I love it. So anyways, commercials, you know, they were there. We had a few.
They weren't as memorable. Like, where was the Doritos one?
Yeah, true. Matthew McConaughey was usually Doritos, but I guess he's moved on to Uber Eats.
Yes, but now for everyone's favorite part, the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes, this year we were completely serenaded by Global Artist of the Year, Puerto Rican star Bad Bunny. He took home several awards last weekend at the Grammys, including Album of the Year and Global Music Performance.
Yes, this halftime show was met with more backlash and controversy than years past, but this was the first time the performance was entirely in another language. He sang it in Spanish and also broke records for the most watched Super Bowl performance and actually the most watched halftime performance for any sport of all time with 135 million viewers, and that's after they had about 6 million, I think, leave. Or was it I can't remember. There's lots of numbers out there, but several million people leaving to watch the other halftime show, the rival one with Kid Rock. And we had a lot of people tuning in internationally too.
Yeah, I saw online that there was like a ton of international watch parties for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I was actually just saying that it's crazy to think that football, no one really cares about it except in the United States. No other sport is like that, where it's solely in one country. Yeah. But this year we saw watch parties all over the world. And I think that was, I mean, people can argue all they want, but at the end of the day, it's like, it is probably because Bad Bunny he's the #1 artist in the world.
And that's why the NFL chose him. Like, they knew there was going to be some controversy, whatever, about people's opinions, but they knew bringing him in, being like the biggest artist in the world, would bring in all those views from all over the world.
Yeah, and speaking of people speaking out against the NFL selecting Bad Bunny, was definitely President Donald Trump was not a fan.
Yes, and conservative group Turning Point USA put on their own halftime show that felt closer to what they felt was the American identity.
Yeah, I personally think it, I think despite whatever you believe, I thought Bad Bunny's performance was just like a step into a different culture, which I really appreciate and I love. I love learning about other people's cultures and what they like and dislike, and I just felt like it was happy. Like I don't know how you could dislike it. But I don't know. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I really enjoyed it, and I think he's just a chill guy. That's how I would describe him. I feel like he has so many friends in Hollywood. Like, I saw John Hamm's like his biggest supporter. Like, is at every one of his concerts. Bad Bunny, Adam Sandler puts him in all his movies. So, it kind of goes to show, like, well, obviously he's really well liked. So. And he's really funny. I mean, when I saw him in the subway station a year ago,
so lucky.
I mean, he was not this big. This was a little bit.
At least
this
not
was
in America.
This was before he like really blew up. But even then, it was kind of like he was just funny. Like it's like kind of goofy, and I don't know. I immediately was like, oh, I need to start listening to some of his music because he knows what's up.
Literally today, I listened to his entire album. Like,
he has some really good hits.
Just like, because I'm like, whatever, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I just watched him, but I absolutely love this show. It definitely is up there in my top ones. Top 5 probably for me. Yeah. And I actually don't know a single word of Spanish. I never took Spanish. I don't know it at all. And I don't really know his music that much, but I loved it, and I could really tell the story that was being told. I loved the set and the dancers. And his recent album is actually all about family. And his performance really told that story. Yeah,
I agree. I wish there was like subtitles on this screen, because I really want to like know what he's saying, because I feel like he's just, it's all full of heart and love. But anyways, research on my own time. Well, Hannah, Bad Bunny shattered world records. I think it's time that we do have to talk a little bit about the game itself.
Okay, fine. But we do have a special guest appearance making his Word on the Street debut. Let's send it over to DITV Sports, Cole Krueger, to recap the game.
Thanks, ladies. That's right. We've talked about the commercials and Bad Bunny's incredible performance, but now it's time to break down the greatest spectacle on earth, the Super Bowl. Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, the host of Super Bowl 60. Opening drive, Sam Darnold trying to prove all the doubters wrong. He's going to find his best friend Cooper Kupp on the sideline here to set up this Jason Myers 33-yard field goal to make it 3-0. A big storyline in this one was, how would the second-year quarterback Drake May perform against this stout Seattle defense? And well, things did not look good early. He goes down for a sack as Devon Witherspoon reels him in for a quick, big loss there. Seattle's now back on offense, and Kenneth Walker is patient, finds the gap, and gets this huge run to set Seattle up in New England territory. And Jason Myers would not kick not one, not two, but a third field goal in a row to make it 12-0 Seattle. Patriots, late in the third quarter, what can this young quarterback do? And he's going to get hit, dropped, and the ball is out, and it's covered by Byron Young to set up the Seahawks in field goal range. Sam Darnold play action pass, throws over the middle to A.J. Barner for the first touchdown of the game with 13:24 remaining. No one would have guessed that but Drake May. He was a runner-up for the MVP for a reason. He finds his wide receiver, Matt Collins. Beautiful over-the-shoulder grab, drops it right in the bucket. All of a sudden, New England has a little bit of life. It's now 19-7. After a big stop, New England Can they cut it to just one score? Drake May steps up in the pocket, throws, and it's intercepted by Julian Love, the veteran safety. He'll take it across the 50, essentially sealing the game for the Seattle Seahawks as Jason Meyer kicks another field goal, going 5 for 5. Back come the Patriots, one last gasp of breath. Drake May, under pressure, gets his, he throws, and it winds up right in the hands of Nwasu, who will run it back untouched. 10-5 touchdown, the cherry on top, icing on the cake, as Mike McDonald becomes the third youngest head coach in NFL history to win the Super Bowl, and this is as the Seattle Seahawks win their second Super Bowl in franchise history and their first since 2014. And just like that, another year, another champion in the NFL season has come to a close. Congrats to the Seattle Seahawks for a dominant season and a great showing throughout the playoffs and in Super Bowl 60. Grace and Hannah, back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Cole, for that rundown. I know I could never have done that in a million years, so we appreciate you taking the time to educate us a little bit more about the game itself. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Word on the Street.
We will see you next week to give you your full entertainment and arts rundown.
But for now, I'm Grace Lathrop.
And I'm Hannah Fideli, and we will see you next time
on Word on the Street.